Welcome, one and all, to the show where we talk about the rarely recognized art of presenting. Come, discover what goes through the minds of the men and women behind the microphone in this little show that I call Host Notes. What's up, party people? Welcome to today's episode of Host Notes. Host Notes is a show that I created to talk about my experiences as a presenter and to give you a little bit of an insight into what goes through my mind and the minds of other presenters here on the show. I am going to have guests on. If you've been in some of the other episodes, you may have seen some guests already. But today we're going to take quite a personal slant on this subject matter. My name's Damien Anyasi. I've been hosting for about 8 or 9 years and I still have much to learn, but also much to share. On with the show. Today, I want to talk about my rules and rituals. Now, in this episode, I'm going to talk about some things that I do typically all the time. In episode 1, when I spoke about what unifies every gig, it was kind of something to get the brain ticking about how events are run. But I have some things that I personally keep in mind that are personal to me, and if it helps somebody else to present, or if you want to adopt one of these things, or I don't know, this one is for the hosts, so I hope you guys will enjoy. The first thing that I do is a visualization. Typically before I perform or go on stage or do something where the audience or a group of people are going to be looking at me and have expectations, I will visualize myself doing that thing when I get to the venue. I might find a quiet place. It might take 15 seconds. It might take 10 minutes. It depends on how much time you have. And normally at an event, you have a limited amount of time to do many things for yourself before you go on stage and do stuff. But I do visualize myself on stage in a particular kind of state. I want to elaborate on that more, but this video I have to keep quite concise. If you want to know more about my visualizations and how I do it, contact me. I'm easy to find. But visualization really helps because it puts you in the place before you arrive at that place. Point number 2, stand in the space. This is kind of coupled with visualization. I kind of try to get on the stage before I start doing what I have to do. I like to get a sense of how big it is, or if there are reference points around the stage. There might be something on the screen behind me, or there might be an obstacle I need to avoid. But standing in the space and imagining it full all the way to the back, or imagining how loud it can possibly be or how quiet it can possibly be, standing in the space helps to prime me for the experience. And if I can do that as frequently as possible, I will do that as well. Point number 3, check on those that make the event run. These people are your team. The event manager or the person that's hired you. Maybe you have a runner, maybe there's a DJ, sound technician, lighting technician, I don't know, co-host, but anyone that you're going to encounter that is connected to what you're trying to do there that day, or at least I, try to check on those people. I try to check on their state, because going to see them, they might say, oh, damn, I'm glad you're here. I just remembered something, you know? Or the lighting guy might say, so where are you going to be standing at the beginning? Because they want to give you the best possible experience. Or the sound technician might say to you, this microphone's a bit weird, so be wary. I will always tend to check on my team before I go to do what I do. That way I know that everything I've got is ready. If you go back and watch the first video about what unifies every gig, I talk about checking your tools. This is kind of tied to that as well. Point number 4, find the toilet and places of importance. Now the toilet is important because either you're going to need it or one of the guests is going to ask you where it is. Just know where it is. Maybe you need to know about other points of interest like the fire exits or where the bar is, or where the security desk is, or stuff like that. If you know your locations of importance at a venue where you are, you just become, I don't know, all things to all people in some way. It pays to at least have an idea of where these things are, or if you don't know the answers, know who to refer people to who do need the answer to that stuff. You know what I mean? So yeah, find the toilets and other points of importance. It pays. Number 5, vocal warm-up. My vocal warm-up is often talking to people in a quiet place and then talking to people in a loud place, because it helps me to stretch and play with my vocal cords and play with my range. When you actually get on the microphone, your voice may sound different. It might sound different to you all the time, but if you're warmed up and you feel like you can project and you can, you have the right support and stuff, especially if you're going to be at an event where you're talking for a long time, you want to feel kind of connected. That's quite important. So yeah, vocal warm-up for me, it isn't a massive thing that I make a point of. Like, I don't often sing on a microphone, but you do want to be attached to how you sound that day. If your voice is tired, maybe speak more slowly. Maybe you have the microphone turned up so you can speak lower and not have to like go into your high register. So yeah, warm up the pipes. Number 6, this for me is a big deal. Never ever give the mic away. I've been at events where you're on stage, somebody wants to come on and do a talk, and you say, here, say what you want to say. And they take that microphone and then disappear to another part of the stage, and you're looking at the event organizer and they're going, then we have to get going. But that person's on the mic, and now you have to try and find a way to prise it away from them artistically and keep the show moving. Often this is a great kind of entertainment for the audience and stuff, but I always know where my microphone is, typically, and don't really give it to other people. I'm happy to hold it while you do your thing. I will, if the mic is cordless, and if I'm taking a break or something, I'll typically take the mic with me, because you might be somewhere else and something might happen where you need to give an announcement really quickly, or I don't know, your intro music might start and you're not on stage yet. If you've got your microphone, you can do your intro from off stage. I've had to do that a couple of times. Take care of your microphone, because it's the biggest tool that you have to communicate with your audience. You need to know its whereabouts and its state at all times. Check the battery level on it and stuff. These things are important, so don't give the mic away. I don't do that. Number 7, this one is lovely. Never get in a public argument on the microphone. Now you might say something that upsets someone. I've done that before. I've upset someone on the microphone. I've upset a whole room of people on a microphone because of something I said. And if people misconstrue what you say, then they might be sensitive about that. If you deliberately upset a person, that's not really that professional, because people are relying on you to be the most professional person in the room. But someone might be upset by something you say. Do not engage under any circumstances in an argument with somebody in the audience. You don't want that. Wherever they are, don't into the microphone have a negative dialogue. Everyone's got cameras, and everybody will remember that that host couldn't keep their cool under pressure. It may change the whole feel of the event, and that's very, very important. Also, if you have hecklers, if someone is heckling or booing you or whatever, blah, 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 everyone can hear the heckler, and they might be looking to see how you manage that, but you know, you're not necessarily a comedian. It might not be your job to manage hecklers. I typically will communicate with them one time just to dampen the heckle, and if they keep going, they normally look quite silly. I use an app called Periscope which is a live streaming app, and often you get people come in there and heckle and say irrelevant things just to put you off and stuff. But with those people, I give them one comment, and then the rest of the people that are in the broadcast, for example, might handle them. It's important that you manage what you're doing and try to stay on track. Remember why you're there and what you're trying to do, and you're not trying to be engaged in a conversation with somebody out there that doesn't serve the whole event. If they're saying some positive stuff, give them some fanfare, but remember what you're trying to do at that location at that time. No hecklers. Number 8, on your break, do the furthest thing first. I always do this. For example, you've got a 1-minute breather between sections. What do? I would normally put down the microphone, hydrate, sit still, and read my notes for the next section. That way, I know that I can do all of that in about 40 seconds, and then in 20 seconds time, the show's gonna kick off again. If you've got like 10-15 minutes, you might be able to leave the room, you might be able to talk to some people, you can go to the bathroom or whatever. If you've got more time than that, maybe you get a chance to go and eat something or go and see other things that are happening in the venue. Check your social media, we're all gonna do it, you know? Or talk to other people, maybe go and have a boogie or do something else. But whatever you do, or whatever I do, when I have a break, if I know how long that break is, especially if they're relying on me to tell people how long the break is and when to come back, I do the furthest thing first. So if I need to eat, I'll probably go and do that because it's the furthest thing away. And then on the way back, I might, I don't know, leave my food with someone, go to the bathroom. Then when I get back to the room, I might have a drink. And then I've done everything along the chain. There's nothing worse than being on a break, drinking something, and then sitting around chatting to your friends, being like, oh, I'm hungry. Then you've only got like 3 minutes left. Do the furthest thing first and utilize your breaks wisely. You're gonna need it if you're hosting an event. And my final point is to stay on duty. As I may have mentioned before in one of my other videos, once I go on the microphone, once I step on that stage, I am in a particular brain space that I stay in until the event is over. And that for me is professionalism. If you are distracted by things that are going on outside in other parts of your life, maybe you got a phone call from someone or you've seen a post or something like that. If you're distracted, if you're not present, then you can't do what you're being paid to do when you're there. And that's not very cool. I try to manage all things that need to be taken care of in my breaks or before that event happens, because when I get to that event, I want to be tuned in the whole time through, because often they run into a particular kind of schedule, or you may have a number of different things that you need to manage. So stay on duty at all times. Okay gang, so below me are the points that I've made here in this episode about the rules and rituals that I have. You may have different rituals. If you do present, please let me know below some of the rituals that you have. Let me know if there's any things that I may have missed out that you think, well, he must do this and he must do that. Let me know. I want to hear from you guys. Leave me some comments below, because this is kind of a conversation and I want to know more about other people's experiences as well. If you've enjoyed this episode and other episodes in the series, please do subscribe to the channel. I'm hoping to bring more content that is of interest to you all. For now, I've been Damien Anyasi. You've been watching Host Notes. See you on the next episode. One love and stay fresh.